At 0917 local time, a Chinese radar operator on the Fujian coast picked up something he wasn't expecting. Two American F-16s, low altitude, slow, heading west across the Taiwan Strait. Not a strike package, not a combat formation, just two jets flying a routine patrol route that American pilots have flown in this part of the world for decades. The duty officer looked at the track for exactly 4 seconds. Then he hit the scramble order. Two J-20s rolled off the flight line at Longtian Air Base and climbed hard into the morning sky. What those J-20 pilots didn't know as they pushed their throttles forward and accelerated through 15,000 feet was that those two F-16s weren't lost. They weren't slow, and they were absolutely not alone. The lead Chinese pilot climbed through 25,000 feet and checked his radar. 2 contacts ahead. Low, steady, no evasive, action. No reaction to the scramble at all. He had seen this before in exercises. American jets holding their heading when a Chinese fighter locks up, playing the discipline game, seeing who breaks first. He wasn't going to break first. His radar, the ASA system mounted in the J-20's nose, painted both F-16s clean at 180 kilometers. Detection range that leaves most fighters in the world with no answer. What is the J-20 carrying today? The Chengdu J-20, China's only operational 5th generation fighter. Low observable, airframe designed to defeat radar detection. Internal weapons bay that hides its missile. Load from enemy sensors. PL-15E beyond. Visual range missiles on the internal rails. Range past 200 kilometers. A seeker that goes active in the terminal phase and stops, needing the launch jet to guide it home. On paper, the J-20 pilot has every advantage in this engagement. Stealth, range, detection, missile performance. He closed to 120 kilometers and tightened his radar into a fire control track on the lead F-16. The lock was clean. The F-16 didn't react. He held the lock for 15 seconds, then 30, then 45. 45 seconds of missile-quality radar lock on an American fighter that wasn't doing anything about it. The J-20 pilot had never held a real lock on a real American jet for this long without the American doing something. He decided the Americans hadn't detected the lock at all. He was wrong. He was completely wrong. And he was about to find out exactly how wrong in the next 4 minutes. Inside Viper 1's cockpit, the radar warning receiver had been screaming since the J-20 went active at 180 kilometers. Not a search tone. A fire control tone, the high-pitched warble that tells a pilot exactly one thing. Someone has a missile-quality lock on you. Right now, Viper 1's thumb hovered over the chaff button, the switch that dumps clouds of metallic strips into the air behind the jet to break a radar lock. One press and the lock drops. He didn't press it. He kept flying west because Viper 1 wasn't flying a patrol route. He was flying bait. What the J-20 pilot couldn't see from 120 kilometers away was what his own radar wasn't telling him. His ASA system was painting two F-16s at low altitude ahead of him. Clean tracks, solid returns. Every number on his scope, exactly what a routine patrol looks like. His radar was telling him the truth about what it could see. It had no way of telling him about what it couldn't. Think of it like walking into a room and counting the people standing in front of you. You get an accurate count of everyone facing you. The radar is accurate, the count is accurate. Nobody told you to check behind the door. At 0931 local time, 14 minutes after, the J-20s scrambled from Longtian. Two F-15EX Strike Eagles were sitting at 38,000 feet, above the overcast layer 85 kilometers, north of the J-20 formation. Radar in standby. Missiles in priority. Firing mode. Absolutely invisible to any radar looking. South toward the Taiwan Strait. The Strike Eagle is the largest fighter in the United States Air Force inventory. Twin engine. Mach 2.5 for combat radius. 900 kilometers. The AN/APG-82 ASA radar. In its nose can track 20 targets, simultaneously at ranges past 200 kilometers. And what's hanging under its wings? The AM-120D AMRAAM, America's standard beyond visual range weapon. Fire and forget. Active radar seeker that takes over inside the terminal phase. Range past 160 kilometers, Mach 4 in the sprint phase. Under 60 seconds from launch to impact at maximum range. The J-20 pilot had no idea those F-15s existed. His radar was looking south. The F-15s were north. His ASA system was one of the most advanced airborne radars in the world. It was looking in exactly the wrong direction. At 09:33, Viper 1 keyed his radio once. 2 clicks. No words, no call signs, no radio procedure. 2 clicks that every pilot in the formation already knew the meaning of before the aircraft left the ground that morning. The 2 F-16s that had been flying slow and steady and completely unbothered by the missile quality lock on their aircraft for the past 16 minutes pushed their throttles forward simultaneously and pulled their noses up 15 degrees. The J-20 pilot watched his 2 easy contacts accelerate and start climbing on his tactical display. He pushed his throttles forward to match the climb. Here's what the J-20 pilot didn't understand about the next 60 seconds. Energy is altitude plus airspeed. You only get it from one place, the engine. Think of it like a bank account. Climbing spends it, diving earns it back. Afterburner is a credit card with a 40% interest rate. The J-20s had been chasing a target at military power for 14 minutes. Afterburner through the initial climb. Hard turns to hold the lock. Energy spent on radar management and formation flying. Through 25,000 feet. Every one of those maneuvers cost fuel, and the J-20 pilot was about to spend the rest of it chasing 2 F-16s that had no intention of being caught. At 09:34, the lead F-15EX at 38,000 feet pushed his nose down 5 degrees and dropped below the overcast layer. His radar came out of standby.
J-16's
2 contacts. J-20 formation, climbing hard at 28,000 feet, 4 kilometers of lateral spread noses pointed south toward the F-16s. Nobody on the Chinese side was looking north.
Feet apart.
The F-15EX pilot checked his fuel state, checked his missile inventory, checked the geometry. The geometry was perfect. Think about what perfect geometry means from this position. The J-20s were climbing away from him, noses pointed south, radars committed. Forward toward the F-16 formation they'd been chasing for 17 minutes. The F-15EX was in their deep 6, behind them, above them,
replaced by
already in the firing position. In real combat, this engagement was over before the J-20 pilot checked his fuel state. What the J-20 pilot saw next, fuel gauge was the number that ended the mission.
Floors of a building
Amber. Not bingo, not emergency, but close enough that one more hard maneuver would push him past the point of making the runway. At Longtian with normal reserves.
But he had no
He'd
choice
been pressing
but to
a target that kept climbing and accelerating for 3 minutes without getting any closer to back toward Taiwan. Sovereignty demonstrated, mission complete. Then his number 2 called a
enough
contact.
to separate
bearing
apart.
355, range 80 kilometers, high. 2 contacts. The J-20 lead checked his radar. His radar was pointing south. He pushed the antenna tilt north and ran a single sweep. 2 returns. 38,000 feet, 80 kilometers north, holding the same. If this breakdown gave
his
you
radar
the
beam
full
to
picture of what really happened out there, hit that like button right now. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more air power breakdowns every single week. Next video, we are covering another engagement that rewrote the playbook on modern air combat. You will not want to miss it.